Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight it's another episode in the One and Done series. Tonight, we are taking a look at Geddy Lee's My Favorite Headache from the year 2000. So the panel's ready. We want to hear from you in the chat. Let's do it.
Grant's Rock Warehouse, now with the look and feel of hand-tooled leather.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be one of those nights where I cannot hit the button correctly. I swear to God, I'm just going to start over. No, I'm not. We'll just go. Gentlemen, how are you? We've got Webb tonight. We've got BM Bolt that says he's got nothing. We've got DC, and we've got Cretton. Look at him. God darn it, shines like a star.
Yes.
I swear to God, this panel is going to knock it out of the park. I do not know what they're going to discuss, but tonight we're going to talk about Geddy Lee's one and only solo album, My Favorite Headache from 2000. And tonight, because we put Cretton in such high regard, we put him up on a pedestal like he's a god, we're going to let Cretton start out and give us a brief intro of this audio marvel, this artistic statement. Mr. Cretton, welcome to the show, and start us off, and then we're going to throw it over to Mr. BM Bolt. I think I'm going to throw it over to Webb then, and then DC, and then you, and then me, and we're just going to talk about this record. Now, we do want to hear from everybody in the comments. If you've known this record, if you've heard this record, we will want your rating out of 10. Now, just hold on, though, because we're not ready for you. But now, Cretton, handing it over to you. Go ahead, my friend.
Can you hear me? Is my volume
you
good?
Sound
excellent.
Great.
I turned off the air conditioner too.
See, I have the air conditioner on.
I hope I don't melt, but okay, here we go. Geddy Lee's one and only solo album came out. It was recorded April of 2000, came out November 14th, a week before my birthday in the year 2000. It was released on Anthem Records worldwide, except here in America on Atlantic Records. It's 11 songs, 48 minutes long, recorded in 5 studios, which seems like a lot. And I want to say the studios' names because some of them are quite humorous. First of all, the Peasants Tent and Reaction Studios in Toronto, Canada. 2 different studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, East and West, and the Factory Studios. Studio X, which is odd because 2 weeks ago when we did the Victor show, Alex Lifeson's solo record, he has a song called Mr. X. So Geddy recorded in Studio X in Seattle, Washington. And the last one from one of my favorite bands, Triumph, Metalworks Studios, run by Triumph's Gil Moore. And that is in, and I hope I pronounced this right, Mississauga, Ontario in Canada. This album was produced by Geddy Lee, Ben Mink, who also co-wrote all the songs, plays guitars and violins and viola, and a guy named David Leonard. It was mixed at Metalworks, the Triumph studio. 2 engineers and 7 assistant engineers on this record. Besides the 11 songs, when I go later on, I'm going to talk about the 2 lost tracks that were released in 2023, right after Geddy's autobiography, My Effin' Life. And he talks about one of the songs in his autobiography, saying it's unreleased, but then a month later, he released it. Now, this album, hit number 52 on the Billboard charts. Pretty good for a solo album. Now, it did not chart in Canada on the RPM charts because I found out earlier in the year 2000, Canada disbanded their Hot 100 album chart, the RPM chart, which is ridiculous, but it did reach number 10 on the metal album chart in Canada. It hit number 15 on the UK official rock and metal album chart, and 2 singles charted on the American Billboard mainstream rock chart. The first single, My Favorite Headache, hit number 20, and Grace to Grace, the last song on the record, hit number 28 on the mainstream Billboard rock chart. Also guesting on the album, just about done, everyone, Matt Cameron plays drums on 10 out of the 11 songs. Everyone knows him from Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. Jeremy Taggart from a really good Canadian band, Our Lady Peace, plays drums on one song. Cellos on one song by a guy named John Friesen. I'll get back to him later. Waylon Wall, steel guitar on one song, and Poppy Rosen, backing vocals. So that's the lineup for this album, My Favorite Headache from 2000.
Awesome. Cretin, you are a master. You are
Thank
a
you.
master of ceremonies, ladies and
He is
gentlemen.
the Casey Kasem of the warehouse.
We will.
I listened to him when I was a kid, Casey.
Yeah, me too.
We
I
will
love
circle
that.
around and talk to Cretin here shortly. Let's throw it over to Mr. BM Bolt. Byron, what's your thoughts on this record, and what is your ranking out of 10? Now, if anybody in the comments wants to give me their rating out of the 10, I'm pretty good at it at this point. So I can take your rating out of 10 if you've heard it. But remember, everybody, we're trying to either turn people on, we're trying to be honest about this. So if you don't like the record, I do want an honest rating out of 10. So anyway, Byron, go ahead, take it away.
Well, Davey, I appreciate you doing all that homework. I couldn't get that motivated to do much homework on this album, to be honest with you.
Oh no.
Coming right out, man.
You know, I don't remember hearing any of this on the radio. Maybe one track.
I never heard anything. I didn't hear anything.
I wasn't listening to much radio by the time this had come out, but I think Geddy sounds really good on it. His voice sounds great. I'm not hearing a whole lot of keyboards. There's a little piano here and there, but it's not a lot of keys. You're used to Geddy playing quite a bit more keys.
Well, you know what? I'm not wanting to interrupt, but you did make a good point, Byron. I think that the piano on here is very refreshing.
Yeah, where'd
As
you support?
oppo-
Yes.
As opposed to all the synth crazy stuff.
Bombastic.
When a piano comes in, I go, wow,
What
that's
the-
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, what the regular just piano?
I
Yeah.
think it fit well. I think it
what
fit well.
the hell is happening?
So, I would say this is more of a songs album, as opposed to with Rush, you get a lot of, great playing, guitar work, the drumming, the keyboards, bass playing, but it's a lot more restrained on this album as far as the musicianship. I'm not saying they're bad musicians. They're kind of holding back, I feel like.
Well, it's not a Rush album by any means.
No, not at all. But I think the real problem, it's a songs album, but the songs aren't very memorable, in my opinion. And it could use some guitar solos, but I digress. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the tracks.
Okay.
All right. The first track, my favorite headache, title track. I like that. When I first start listening to this track, it reminds me of Primus.
I was going to say the exact
Yes.
same thing.
Yeah, I hear some Primus in there.
Or
it's
maybe
pretty
9 Inch Nails a little bit too.
It's pretty heavy. I like that track. The second song, Present Tense, I didn't think that was too bad either. It was pretty good. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I kind of enjoyed. I thought Window to the World was okay. Same with Moving to Bohemia. I liked Home on the Strange quite a bit. Kind of funky at times. Rocks pretty hard. Still was pretty decent for a slow track. And I thought Grace to Grace wasn't too bad. It's kind of fast at times, slow at other times. But like I said, nothing on this album really. I couldn't tell you how one song goes. And, I tried.
Well, it's not like listening to Permanent Waves. I'll give you
No,
that.
I mean, I couldn't sing you anything off of this.
Yeah, couldn't either.
And I'm trying to listen to it, but anyway.
But could you
I
sing
digress.
anything off? But could you sing anything off of Victor?
No, but I should have gone back to double check what I gave that. I think I gave that about a 7, maybe 6, and I'd have to go back and check. I scored Victor a little higher. I don't know why that is, but I think because it rocked a lot more. There's a lot more guitar playing on it, and
As there
this
should be.
album it was kind of just slow at times. And
You know what? We're keeping it loose. If anybody watched Sea Tranquility over the weekend, it's pretty damn loose. Anyway, but what I want to say is, though Geddy is playing bass parts here, but it's not like but he's playing more bass parts that support the song. It's not like you give me a Geddy Lee solo album, I would much rather it be like Chris Squire, Fish Out of Water, where the bass is predominant, where it takes center stage. The bass playing does not take center stage, and it's all about the songs.
Yes.
But if I want a Geddy solo album, it's okay record, but I want some chops, man. Let's put a band together. Let's hear some bass playing chops, because he's got the chops. That's what I would want. Just
coming
like
out of the
Squire
chute,
did.
yeah, coming out of the chute, you'd think this is going to be a bass centric album, but then after that initial tune, the bass just follows the flow of the songs.
Yeah.
But coming out of the chute, I'm thinking, oh baby, this is going to be bass to the 10th power. But
yep. So yeah, so that was about all I really had on this. It's not the greatest album. Could have been better. Could have been worse. I'm going to give it a 5, right down the middle.
Ooh.
A 5.
So,
Ouch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just banned Pumping Vinyl because he's giving Gary Joyce a hard time. And if you're going to start turning people off on my channel, then I'm going to have to let the hammer go down. Don't get me pissed off. We're a damn community here. And I've been pretty easy going about it, but you don't mess with Gary Joyce.
you've been
I'm getting riled up.
you've been very judicious, because last night, as we mentioned before we hit the air, I was going to use the power of my wrench to just take out this particular person. But, once you start getting into other
You start affecting my
commenters.
subscribers and stuff, now we have a problem. Pumping Vinyl, I personally don't have a problem with you, but don't mess with the people here. You can mess with me like you used to, but don't mess with Gary Joyce. He's a good dude. Come on.
He's the principal.
We're trying to have a community here. And if you're going to ruin it for everybody, I'll just shut the damn warehouse down. No, I won't.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
enough time wasted.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
See, now we got Gary. Now I have to go and talk to Gary Joyce, which I don't have a problem, but come on, people.
All right.
Logan says, I blame Byron hasn't paid his back his $2. I'm not flexing. I'm getting angry now.
We had a good comment from Todd Evans in
Wait
regards
a minute.
to
Hold
Byron's
back.
comment.
Hold on. Let me quote Todd Evans, ladies and gentlemen. I would say that synths would help, but there are no memorable melodies for them to stick to.
And he also mentioned that Byron just mentioned his biggest issue with the album. When I'm not listening to it, I struggle to remember. Well, it's the same thing. I struggle to remember any of the songs. And he gives it a 6 out of 10, but notes that they're great performances, but nothing grabs him.
Who did you just say?
Todd. It was
He
his
gave it a 6 out
comment
of 10?
previous.
Oh, I
the one
didn't
you
see
featured.
it
Yeah.
because I was on a tirade.
Well, see, this is what happens. We disrupting the mojo here in the
It
warehouse.
disrupts my mojo. I guess I'll just not do live shows anymore because I thought it was fun. For
No.
everybody.
That's what he would be having an orgasm over that. Don't do that.
Oh, he would, but that's
Oh my
where he gets
God!
off.
That's what he gets off. What a fun life! What a
He's back.
Yeah.
He likes it though. He does like it. Well, we'll ban that too since he's got me riled up. I guess I'll just be banning all night. All right. So Byron, what did you give it? A 7?
It's 5.
No, 5.
5. Someone gave it a 7. All right, I got the 7. All right, everybody in the chat, if you can give me your ratings before, I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you've heard it and are familiar with
You've heard
it,
and
and
familiar with it.
yeah,
I'm not going to talk about Pumping Vinyl
Who's
anymore.
next?
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, let's go.
Webb. We got
Webb.
Webb coming up. Webb's on deck circle.
I'm ready. I'm ready to
Go
go.
Webb. You got the
Okay.
you got the platform.
I'm here. I'm gonna rate it a little higher than Byron, but not much higher. My favorite headache. you hear that bass line and you're like, yeah, this is cool. And like you said, Primus and maybe like a little night something, you know, you're like, this is good. And that song is probably the best song on the album. The first song, it's front loaded. And I think, hey, I love Matt Cameron. So Matt Cameron does a good job through the whole album. He's got pretty big shoes to step into. I mean, let's think about it, you know. And so I was loving the drums. I know like nobody listens to the drums. People listen to the drums. And I have like 5 songs I like. Present Tense is good. It's not great. It's good. I kind of put that I liked Window to the World. I don't know why. It just I don't know. It kind of stuck with me for some reason. And then Working It Perfect and Runaway Train and The Angels Share, it's all, they're okay, but they don't stick with you. So nothing, like Byron was saying, nothing's kind of memorable. Only the first song so far, really. Home on the Strange is cool, though. And it's got a cool winding riff. I thought, and that's the one Jeffrey Taggart plays drums on. He did a good job there. And that one kind of stuck with me. And then there's 2 ballads, Slipping and Still. And now the piano, we mentioned the piano. The piano's in a few of these tracks, and it sounds good when it comes in, and it's beautifully played, and I liked it. I can't even tell you what songs they were in though.
I know it's on the outro to the last song on the album, and it is in a couple others, but it was like, what is that? A piano? Like, is that a piano? What?
I know, and it sounded good. I mean,
not as walls of keys. It says,
and you know, and then the last album, Grace to Grace, was the second single, right? I heard Cretin say that, and that is okay too. So kind of like the bookends. I think the last song's pretty good. The first song's good. Everything mixed in. It just, I'm not gonna, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think I'm gonna go back and reach for it and listen to it. But it reminds me of. The sound on this record reminds me of what Vapor Trails is going to sound like, right? Like, I mean, a little bit. And now Vapor Trails is, I know, with the mixing and all that stuff and all that. But just that big sound, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of the sound of the 2000s for Rush, the rest of their releases. And I'm sure they enjoyed doing the album. It's solid. They probably felt good about it, but it did, you know, not many people listened to it. And I don't know how many people bought it. It didn't sell a lot, right, Cretin? It really didn't.
No, it didn't certify.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, yeah. And you would think it would maybe in Canada, but it didn't. So,
you know, it's funny you mentioned it because I remember when it came out, Webb.
Yeah.
And really, there was really nothing. This is, if you go look in used CD bins, you never see it.
Mm-hmm.
I've rarely ever seen a copy used. I don't know who even bought it.
Yeah.
It's just weird. And I don't remember really getting any kind of promotion. I probably did. Maybe I didn't see it. But
well, but the title track kind of makes you think that, okay, this could be a pretty good album, but it just doesn't, everything doesn't hold up to the first song. And I can kind of hum that chorus of My Favorite Headache. Byron saying nothing sticks in his head. That's about it. Is the, I watch the sea and I watch TV and, whatever. That sticks in my head a little bit. It doesn't sound like very, very well, though. But I'm going to go ahead and just say that I almost like it as much as Test for Echo because I'm a huge Rush fan and I do not like Test for Echo. So it's really not, it's kind of on par with that album. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
All right. Seems to be the general consensus pretty much.
Yeah, 6.5. I mean, I almost said 7, but no, couldn't do it.
Slogan said it went to number 10 on the metal charts in Canada.
Okay.
I said that.
Or you did. You probably did, but I can't. It's hard for me.
He wasn't paying attention to you.
I got a lot going on, Cretin.
He's got people barging
There's
into the comments. He's got his abacus working. He got a lot. 17 balls.
Keep banning people. It's keeping me busy.
Yeah.
Ernesto, Sydney, what is considered metal? You know what, Ernesto? That's a topic for Sydney's show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. he's questioning it. He goes, "There's no way that's metal."
Well,
yeah.
So what's DC
okay,
got to say about this?
Yeah, hold
Yeah, let's
on,
see what
Byron.
DC
Calm
gotta say.
down. You have dinner? Is Stephanie upstairs waiting?
I already
What,
had
you
dinner.
got a pool party?
I had dinner. I'm ready for dessert.
Could you
Get hungry
imagine
for
last
dessert.
night
After
Byron running around his pasty body all around the pool? God.
Ooh, yeah.
Clayton, you know what, Clayton? I'm doing my best, but there are hurdles trying to keep this place fun.
Yeah.
Tell us, real quick with O'Brien, what was the allure of this pool party? Was it at your house? Was it at a neighbor's house? What was it?
A good friend of ours.
Were you over at Pumping Vinyl's pool?
No.
All right, just wondered. All right, DC.
I'm not talking about it.
All right.
Not talking about it. Well, will you please pay him? Jesus.
I'm going to piggyback on a few of the comments the guys have already made about this album and a few thoughts, and then I'll go pick out a couple tracks and make a comment or two. How does this compare to a Rush album? Well, you've got Geddy's lead vocals, so that puts it in a different kind of category than Alex Lifeson's solo album. You already got the Rush vocal vibe working here. I found, although the songs aren't incredibly memorable, I found this to be a more melodic album than most Rush offerings, and more of the melodic embellishments than maybe the melodies per se. You've got, like we said, the actual piano on this. You've got a lot more acoustic guitar on this than your run-of-the-mill Rush album, but you've got less lead guitar. You also have more personal type songs here than kind of like the things that Rush do with the sci-fi, fantasy, global issues, state of mankind type of subject matter. Like after this third album, I think Rush gave up on all those kind of like more personal pieces like Working Man, or I Think I'm Going Bald, those sort of things. And they took on more of a sci-fi outlook of the world and world issues in a broader scope of the focus of their writing. But coming right out of the chute, and we all were stymied because with My Favorite Headache, that bass is just coming out, barreling out of your speakers, and you're thinking, oh baby, this is going to be a real showcase for Geddy's bass prowess. But after that, he backs off, and the bass playing all really just services the songs. And it's a crazy thing I just said, among many crazy things I say.
Oh, you're out of your freaking mind.
Well, everyone knows that. But overall, I think this is more melodic than a Rush album. But the melodic stuff doesn't really stick. I agree with Byron as well on that. I did like My Favorite Headache, and there's a bridge on there that was driving me crazy. What's Rush song does that remind me of? But the bridge on that song reminds me of Ghost of a Chance.
Ooh, I like that.
Good tune.
Yeah, the present tense, and it's melodic with doubled Geddy vocals in a spot there. Window to the World, I bring up melodic, and it's a poppy approach. That's what I'm really getting at here. Just the approach to these tunes. I don't know. It just hits me as there's a more concentration on melody. So
is it maybe that you find this record a bit more accessible than latter era Rush?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying the approach is so different. Geddy's really servicing the songs and not so much a Rush vibe, what Rush is known for. And there are melodic elements that I feel like he really concentrated on, but they don't stick like you would maybe hope they would. As crazy as that notion is, that's what I got out of it. The fourth song, Working at Perfect, I put most pure Rush songs so far, and this one has strings and piano, not Geddy's usual wall of synthy kind of, altered keyboards. Runaway Train is a straight ahead rocker for the most part. Acoustic guitar here. The Angels share. I mean, again, you get more acoustic guitar, and it's a nice change of pace within the album. Moving to Bohemia. This is rockin' and could have easily fit on any Rush record. And there's like Zeppelin-like strings, Physical Graffiti era worked into this tune that I noted. Home on the Strange, and this is a little funky. And I like the funk. And the guitar, there's a guitar riff going on there that reminds me of the Grand Funk Railroad song, Nothing Is the Same. Just a quirky little thought I was listening to it. Slipping, you get a piano intro there, ballad. I don't normally turn to the Rush guys for ballads, but this is pretty good. And it's the longest song on the album. All these songs fall within the 3-minute, 4-minute time frame. This is the only one that goes over 5. Still, this is not a cover of the Lionel Richie tune. This is kind of balladry, laid back.
I'm a little. Whoa.
I kind of like that song.
Still, you don't remember the Lionel Richie song? Still,
calm down. You remember it too, Webb?
Yeah.
Jesus, what is happening here?
Getting really soft here in the warehouse.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, DC, he doesn't say still till like the very end, right? Then isn't that the last like? Still?
Yeah, he keeps you hanging on. Not like Lionel. He spilled the beans earlier in his tune. It's a melodic Geddy Lee vocal, and it's really different. Grace to Grace, we finish in a rockin' fashion. It's solid, it's driving, and it's a good tune to end the album. I didn't have this album, and I didn't hear anything off it back in the day because this is prior to when you could just go on YouTube and test albums, and bands and artists were posting their albums online. I knew of this album. I just never pursued it. I did pursue the Alex Lifeson album, oddly enough. I don't know why. But I've listened to this 3 times, and I like it more than Byron and Webb. It's like I like this better than Alex's album. I think this is a song. This is a type of album that the more you listen to it, the melodies are not as immediate, but the more maybe you familiarize yourself with it, they'll come to the fore. It doesn't immediately hit you as very catchy, but there's a lot of melodic elements here. That's the best way I could describe it. So I'm going to give this an 8. I gave Alex's album a 7. There were only 3 songs on that album that I liked. This one's got 6 or 7 that I like. I mean, none of them are knocking me on my ass, but it may be one of those albums that grows on you. And sometimes in the long run, those are more your favorites. So there you go. I got to rate it higher than Alex's.
So what'd you give it? Sorry, I was reading a comment.
I gave Alex's a 7, so I'm going to give Geddy here an 8.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
yeah,
I'm good. I'm good with that.
Grant, can I say something before Cretin goes? I just had a thought.
100% Webb.
I just
100%.
had a thought. Different strings on permanent waves. It almost seems like it could fit. It could fit on this album. I don't know. I'll throw it around the panel. I don't know. It just with that piano. That's the only time you really hear. And I know that's not Geddy playing it or something on permanent waves, but I don't know that melody in that song. And he wrote didn't Geddy write that or something? He wrote the lyrics for that. I don't know. I'm just saying it kind of sounds like it could be on.
Well, yeah, he took all of the lyric writing under his wing, whereas with Rush, it's Neil Peart. So, I mean, this was a exploration for him in areas that I don't think he had to work on aside from their debut album. Yeah. So, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I echo what Kyle says. Nice to have you on the stream. If you're real. Geddy wrote all of different strings. Okay.
Yeah, good. Thank you, RDD.
Well, Geddy was also on fire then too, so
right.
that was a good era.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we've got an 8 from DC. Let's run over to Mr. Cretin, who did
Okay.
a wonderful intro, and
Thank
we'll
you.
get what his thoughts and his rating out of 10.
Okay, before I highlight some of the songs, My Effin' Life by Geddy Lee, I'm going to talk about some of the things he says about this album in his autobiography, chapter 23, pages 401 to 412. So this was recorded during Rush's hiatus.
You read it all.
I feel like I'm in church. I feel like I'm in church.
I'm not going
Everybody,
to read it all.
Neil.
Ecclesiastics chapter 7 through 9.
Please turn your Bibles.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Go Creed.
So this was recorded during Rush's hiatus after Neil Peart's twin tragedies in 97 and 98. And Geddy got together. He recorded it with his old pal Ben Mink from the Canadian band FM rock band. And he's also worked for years with Canadian songstress K.D. Lang. And after a suitable period of mourning, Geddy and Ben got together and they clicked musically just as they did in 1979 as friends. The first song they wrote together, Gone, is a ballad about loss, and it remained unreleased until a month after the autobiography came out. The song Window to the World came from a nutty conversation that the two had about online pornography in 1998, 1999, when they were working on the album. So someone said they liked the song, and it springs from talking about online porn 25 plus years ago.
That was me.
Perfect, Webb. That's perfect for you.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Now, Geddy encouraged Ben Mink to build up his own violin and viola tracks to emulate a large, unaffordable in-house orchestra for this record. And then Geddy did the same thing with his bass tracks on certain songs. Like the first track, at the beginning, it's a one straight and one bottom end track on the bass, two chordal parts, and another distorted in the upper range to emulate a lead guitar. And Geddy says about one of the songs here, quote, "I was proud as hell of the work we did on The Angel's Share, which I think is one of the best pieces of music I've ever written." One more quote, and then my notes for the whole album from his book are done. Another quote on the song Slipping, quote, "I wrote this song mostly on piano. This is one of the most vulnerable songs I've ever allowed myself to write and to be in. I could have never done this song in Rush," end quote.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
now I'm going to skip the song called My Favorite Headache because everyone talked about that. I'm going to go to the ballads from this record, and that's where I really think that this album shines. Track 4 that DC mentioned, Working It Perfect, and perfect for some reason is spelled with a K. It's a 5-minute song. I love everything about this song, and it may just be my favorite track here. Ben Mink's guitar riff is pretty cool. Matt Cameron's drum work. John Friesen's cello work. The cello strings and stabs on this song are excellent, and I love Geddy's vocal performance on this song. It's very dramatic and emotional, and I like his oh-ohs on this song. And they even continue in the background while he's singing some of the verses. So it's really cool. And I wrote down, like you guys said, great piano playing by Geddy here. And I love the placement of the oh-ohs throughout the song. And his multi-track vocals on the song are really good. Moving on to the song that I mentioned, Geddy highlighted, The Angel's Share, 4.5 minutes. Dig the opening acoustic guitar playing under Geddy's plaintive lead vocals. Some exquisite lyrical turns of phrase, Geddy's wordplay on the song, minimalistic guitar and violin solos, a little past the midsection, and it's another ear candy chorus to me on this song. It's an album highlight, just like Working It Perfect, and some underplayed drum work on the song from Matt Cameron. He doesn't overwhelm the song, so he knows how to play for the song. So that's what this is. It's a solo record. So Geddy just went to his songwriting, more his Beatles side than his hard rock Cream side, because both of them make up Geddy Lee, in my opinion. One more track to highlight from the album before I go on to the 2 bonus tracks released in 23. Slipping Like DC said, it's the longest song, a little over 5 minutes. It has a very melancholy melody with Geddy Lee on piano, Ben Mink once again on acoustic and electric guitars. It's a very personal song for Geddy. He wrote it about his wife.
Yeah.
And it totally escaped his family's notice until he put it in My Effin' Life. And the chorus, the big line in the song is, I slipped along the way. So he obviously had some missteps in his life that he felt really bad about. So he put it into the song. And you get a lot of great vocalese from Geddy on the song where he's not singing words, he's singing melody, a lot like Andy Haslam did in Renaissance. So I think his vocals on this song are great too. So I really love the ballads on the album. And just to briefly mention the 2 bonus tracks from 2023, Gone is a little over 4 minutes. It's a simple, haunting, yet effective, understated tribute to Neil's daughter and wife who passed away in the late 90s within a year of each other. And the fact that the Professor had that double tragedy and eventually came out the other side and still did great work on the drums and lyrically and within the context of Rush, that's what made him the Professor and so amazing. The song is very raw and it's heartfelt, yet it remained unreleased until December 2023. Now, a lot of Rush fans have issues with Rush ballads, but I think that Geddy does them really well, and it especially shines on his solo record here and this song. And the playing by the supporting musicians is restrained, and it gives more gravitas to the proceedings on the song Gone. So anyone who's not familiar should check that out. And just to briefly tell about the charts on that song, in the UK, it hit number 30 on the official physical singles chart, number 30 on the official vinyl singles chart, number 62 on the official single sales chart. And in the US, it hit number 6 on the hard rock digital song sales chart. A lot of long titles here. Now, the next song, the B-side of the single Gone, is a song called I Am, ... the ellipses, You Are. And this hit number 7 on the US hard rock digital song sales chart. So he did have some success, although it was 23 years after the album came out, on the singles chart. Originally, the song was called I Am You Are, all capital letters. And then for the record release, for the single release, I should say, he changed it to I Am You Are. And this is a reflective mid-pace number with a cool Ben Mink. I think it's a viola solo here.
Probably
It sounds
Mink.
slightly different from violin. From the midsection, and it goes through and it continues under Geddy's vocals when they re-enter about 2/3 through the song. And Ben Mink also has some great guitar riffing in this song as well. It's definitely more upbeat than Gone, and it's a good mid-paced rocker. So those are the 2 unreleased songs. And I really like this album a lot because it's different from a lot of Rush albums. And Geddy wrote the songs. They're his babies. And like Alex's record was more industrial and hard rocking compared to a lot of Rush at the time in 1996. I think this is a really good record. I'm going to give this slightly higher than I did the Alex record. I'm going to rate it 8.5. I think the ballads bring it up, and I think Geddy's voice on this album is wonderful.
Byron's sitting there going like this.
I don't understand.
And
I get you, Davey. I get you.
One more thing I neglected to mention is I
Go
definitely
ahead.
heard this when I was working in the record stores in the year 2000. So I've been living with this record for 2.5 decades, and I really enjoy it a lot.
I think that's a
Carpet
truism there, because this strikes me as the kind of album that the more you listen to it, the more you ingest, the more familiarity you get with what he's doing, the more that you can retain those melodic elements in a stronger fashion. Because initially I'm listening and saying, there's a lot of melodic stuff here, but it's just not sticking like a lot of it normally does. But
Yeah.
I think over time, the more you listen, the more it's going to resonate.
100%.
My thinking.
Shallow.
And you know, Rush fans are hard to please. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm one of them. And the expectation levels are all, I mean, when they're like heroes to you.
But it's all where you come into Rush.
I know it is.
That's part of it too.
Yeah.
Because
mean, but I
some
think
people think that the '80s stuff is just the greatest thing since sliced bread, or the '90s stuff.
yeah.
They're all wrong, because the '70s stuff was the best. But that's okay.
Well, Cretin, would you okay, so you would pick that you would rather listen to this than probably Test for Echo and Vapor Trails and
Definitely Vapor Trails.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Test for Echo too.
yeah, okay. And yeah,
All right.
I mean,
I do want to give a shout out real quick. How can I not? Rick Labonte.
Byron.
Thank you, my Canadian soul brother.
Ooh.
God darn. Oh, if I get up there, if there's another Sea of Tranquility Fall Fest and you're playing,
I know.
I'm gonna jam with you, Rick Labonte.
That's gotta happen. We gotta make
Nice.
it. Pete's gotta
I'm
make
gonna
that
jam
happen.
with you.
It's gotta-
Thank you so
Water,
much.
baby.
Come together.
And Resto knows. Byron says Rush fans are the worst. All right, so this is my take on this record.
Oh God.
I've got the vinyl. That's all I've got. I got the
Wow.
record store day vinyl version of it. I don't have
Nice.
the CD.
Yeah.
I do agree with everyone on the panel to some degree. I don't think the melodies. Oh, look at hey Z, how are you? Tell Griffin I said hey. That's my son's girlfriend out in Seattle. Anyway,
Cool.
I wish the melodies were more memorable. I get it that it's not very memorable. Again, it's not a bass album. I wish what I had received was a bass player album. But like we said, people in the comments said it's probably more of a vocal thing. I get it. I think didn't Ben Mink play guitar on this?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the guitars.
Yeah.
And some
Yeah,
by
I
Geddy.
like his guitar playing on it. I'll give him that. Yeah, he's not like a shredder, but that's what BM Bolt likes, shredding. There's no shredding here. But I
Byron,
do like this tonal quality of his guitar playing quite a bit.
did you see what happened as soon as you said something about the guitar playing? Byron yawned. He yawned right in time.
I know. We know what Byron likes, but I don't think the guitar playing's bad. I love the piano on this record.
That's
I
all
like
Geddy.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it.
Weren't you kind
Wow.
of stunned? It was like
Kind of stunned, but it was refreshing.
piano. What the? Yeah.
Refreshing. Give me
Yep.
more of that. I wish I had more of that in Rush. Okay. I think the more you play this record, I probably played it about, how many times did I play it today? God, 5 times probably. I think the more you play it, the more it kind of takes hold, because it's not a record that you just totally get right out of the gate. If
Yeah.
you're, see, I think a lot of my problem is I bought the record store day thing, but I just kind of left it. I hadn't really played it. I bought it, put it in the rack. The thing is, I was expecting kind of something different, because I don't remember any kind of airplay here in Ohio about it. If they played it, they played one track one day, and that was it. And I've never seen it, and it just went off my radar. Same with Victor. I know Victor came out, and that went off my radar too. I never see those used. Now people could say, "Well, that's because they're so great." Well, I don't think anybody bought it. So what would I rate this? I do like the Geddy album better than some Rush. It's definitely better than Vapor Trails. It's a lot more creative to some degree. The production's good. I think the record sounds really good. And it does sound kind of refreshing. Are the lyrics all that hot? Well, I don't know. Can you beat Neil Peart? I don't know.
No, but it's
No.
the
But it's
the subject matter is more personal here.
It is.
So,
Yes.
Is it something that I would recommend to somebody that hasn't heard it to go out and buy? Only if you're a completist. I think it's an okay record, but would I go back and play it again? No. Well, there's no reason. There's way better stuff. Permanent Waves, for one. Moving Pictures, A Farewell to Kings, 2112. There you go. Grace Under Pressure, far better than this record. This is great that they were at that point on their career where They didn't know what was going to happen to Rush. I
Right.
understand that Alex and Geddy needed a creative outlet. I get it. But is it something I could recommend? Only if you're a completist of Rush, I think. I think it's more curiosity, and they just needed an outlet. And I don't think Geddy, he didn't tour for this. The only thing he did was like sign CDs. He'd go out and do like a CD signing tour. So there you go. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's okay. Here we go. Jamie Laszlo. I can't remember how one song goes on the album. The songs are very forgettable. It's a good record to put on in the background or while you're doing dishes or sitting at the pool like
Yeah,
Byron did. Byron was probably sitting at that pool listening to it. So Byron's, I don't like Vapor Trails. I do, because Vapor Trails is atrocious. What they did to that
The
poor record
production.
is digital distortion, ladies and gentlemen. I can handle analog distortion, but digital distortion, once it's imprinted, it's there and you can't get rid of it. Though, with AI technology, I'm already on a tirade. With AI technology, though, I bet you they could go back now and fix Vapor Trails 100%. Split all the tracks up, clean all that digital distortion out. I think they need to go do another pass with it. That's
Well,
what I
they
think.
did already. They remixed it.
That's
and
before
re-released
there was no AI though then.
It
this is
sounds
what I'm
better,
saying.
but not great.
I don't know if
No.
that album's good enough if it's worth it. Just leave it. Just leave
I
it
saw him
alone.
on that tour. It was great.
Yeah, I saw the tour. Yeah.
Yeah, Geddy's washing machine was great.
So
That
Geddy
was
did-
hilarious.
Yeah. So
If you can sit through it, Jamie, I can't. I just want to I want to take these scissors and poke I just want to poke my ears out.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and guys. Okay, so this was 97 was the tragedies with Neil,
Right.
right?
97, 98.
So you got to think Geddy. He's so creative. He's sitting around. They don't know the future of the band. They know they're probably going to stay together, but they don't know where they're going. He's like, I gotta. This is kind of a cathartic album, maybe. Maybe
Yes.
going along. To try, especially with some lyrics that he wrote. And he took that feeling into it. Like, I've got to do something, guys. Who can I call? All right, Matt, can you come over and help me out? And that's probably the reason he made it. He just he needed an outlet.
Yeah, I get it. He wasn't concerned if it was going to be a critical success,
Right.
or
Exactly.
a sales success.
Yeah.
I get it, but I just don't think it's necessary to have. It's just interesting that he did put something out. If he was really into it, he'd be cranking out solo material left and right.
Mhm.
So what would I give this? I guess I'd probably give it a God, 8.5 seems high. It's not worth. I'd probably give it a 6.5. It's fine. It's okay. Not.
How
or
did you
6.
how did you rate this as in comparison to Alex's album?
I don't
Do you
remember.
remember? Okay.
I don't remember.
I think he gave it a 6 or a 5.
Probably is. Yeah, probably about
Whatever.
something like that. I don't think one's better than the other. All right, Christian's coming. He's giving it a 6. I gave it a. I think I'd be happy with a 6 because it's not crap. It's not mediocre, but it's not great. A 6. All right, Josh is coming in with an 8. All right.
Gosh.
Anybody else that hasn't given me a score, give me your score. If you know this record, and then we will tally it, and we will be able to make our opinion.
Because we used to get ratings for albums from people who didn't listen to the album.
Yeah.
We don't need that. I give it a
Ken
5.
White.
I've not heard it, but
Grant, what did
Ken
Sid give it?
Ken White, who really knows what he's talking about, 6.5.
That's what I said, Ken. Ken.
There you go. I really do. Ken has turned me on to so much stuff. Sydney, who said he likes digital distortion, wanted to make sure everyone knew that.
Don't give it a negative rating, Sid. Come on.
Well, Sydney, I don't mind you giving a rating if you're being honest about it. We're trying to be honest. That's all. Josh says the title track is excellent.
Yeah.
Probably the best track on the record. The piano kills. I like social distortion. Yeah, but that's probably analog distortion. As we said on the Victor show, I like Victor slightly better than this album. Okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
All right, did
interesting.
everybody? That is interesting.
We all hear things differently. This is what's great
That's
about
why-
getting
that's why we're here.
everybody together.
All right, we're 50 minutes in. We might as well wrap this dog up. I think everybody is coming with their score. Yeah, Kelly, I've got yours already. Sydney, yes,
Sydney.
honestly, like nothing on it, not my thing. So a 0 from me.
I shouldn't
Victor
have
is
asked.
also a 0.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, Rush fans across the globe, take note.
Jamie chimes
Jamie
in with a
Laszlo,
5.
5. All right, thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
It's better than 0.
Better than 0.
Sydney
All right,
the
let's
Kidney
tally it up.
strikes again.
But you know, Rush fans will wait till Rush fans the show sees that. They're gonna go.
Sydney's
crazy.
a youngster. Man, you would think I'd be the surly one.
I know. You would
Being the
think.
old
remember, he's not that young
There's-
though. Remember, Grant? How old is he? How old is he?
Sydney,
40?
like 45 or something.
no, he's younger than that.
He's
not
like
even
40.
40.
He's under 40.
Logan is the young. Oh, there's Dementia Cat. Oh,
Yep.
I'm not familiar with this album other than Matt Cameron on drums. That's all right, Brian. That's all right. No big deal.
cool.
Maisie says, I'm just going to agree with whatever Grant rates it because I only know Twilight Zone. Now, Maisie was staying at my house when Griffin came to visit like a couple weeks ago. And she is an absolute loves the track Twilight Zone off of 2112.
Great
Cool.
song.
She can't get enough of it.
That's a cool song.
She's like
It does.
21.
It does have a definite vibe to it. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So the fact that, we have a young lady, 21, loves it, we have hope, ladies and gentlemen.
We salute Maisie.
I salute you, Maisie.
Did I pay the
Logan-
light bill? What is going on?
Totally agrees.
I'm in the dark.
Wait a minute, 45, 37. You're 40, Slogan. You're 40, baby.
Oh, he's only 30. You've been telling me he's 40 the whole time.
He's 37. Not much difference. Hey, 40 will get here before you know it, Sydney.
45, 37. Who quit quibbling?
All right, Maisie. Nice seeing you. Thanks for popping in. All right, so let's tally. Our average is. I think this is right on, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 6.36, so I'm going to round it up to 6.4. Right in there. I think that's about right. I mean, we have to go with what everyone says. We're all working together. What? What do you?
Cretin
point-
came in with the highest rating, didn't he?
Well, Creighton loves everything.
I love
If
the
he
ballads.
watched it, he
They
loves it.
Bring the album up.
That's right.
I don't
He
love
didn't like
everything.
Kilroy is
The
here.
Rush fans are crying in their records right now.
Hey, Grant, before we go,
Yes, sir.
we should give an honorary shout out and tribute to Mick Ralphs from
Yeah.
Go
Bad
ahead, do
Company
it.
And
Go ahead,
Mott
Cretin.
Hoople. Mick Ralphs passed away today, or at least they announced it today, at the age of 81. He had a stroke in 2016, and he unfortunately has been suffering ever since. He hasn't played, hasn't been able to play. I think he may have been bedridden, but he did great work in Bad Company for a few decades and in Mott the Hoople before that. And everyone should check out the Mott the Hoople series that Grant and the guys are doing right here on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
100%.
And you'll hear some great praise about the guitar playing and singing and songwriting of Mick Ralphs.
Yeah.
Thank you for the plug, Davey.
Guy, he's a
He's a
professional.
professional. He is a professional.
I got it all.
All right,
covered.
everybody. We've went 54 minutes. I think we can wrap this dog up. Again, thank you, Rick Labonte, for supporting Grant's Rock Warehouse. We appreciate it. We are a community here. And, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with everybody here.
What does that mean?
Okay. I don't want to say his name. It's kind of like I'm done with all that.
I know.
Like Beetlejuice
It's kind of like Beetlejuice
or Candyman.
or Candyman. We'll just leave it at that.
Chicken, the Candyman. Oh,
So anyway,
You can't
6.4.
baby.
6.4. So leave a like, please subscribe. We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. There is the Bon Jovi show where it's kind of like the Grand Funk show because I don't like Bon Jovi. Good God Almighty. can they convert me over to actually appreciating Bon Jovi? So far, we're not there yet. But I did listen to. We're doing Slippery When Wet and New Jersey.
Big albums.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Big sellers.
I've never heard these records in my life because I just can't stand it.
You heard them all on the radio, though.
Just the singles, not the albums.
Which is half the albums, at least.
I saw the tours back in the day.
So did I. 20 million people can't be wrong, Grant. 20 million people can't be wrong.
Yes, they can. Happens all the time.
I know.
Look at
like
modern
hysteria.
pop music.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
hysteria.
So, all right, everybody. So thanks for doing it. We will see you tomorrow. And gentlemen, real quick, we got a couple minutes. Anything coming up on Creighton? What's coming up on your channel real quick? We got a couple minutes.
Well, tonight I'm going to film and put up a tribute to Mick Ralph's, longer than the one I just did. And
there you go. Tune into Creighton's Classics.
Cretin Classics, and I'm going to review the new Styx album finally over the next few days too.
All right.
And I have more album rankings coming up, some guests. Going to be doing a show on Squeeze very soon.
Ooh.
Could.
I like Squeeze.
Great band.
There you go. I did a Squeeze show.
Yep,
Not very long ago.
You did favorite Squeeze songs.
Now, Ernesto was saying that Tim Derling just did a Bon Jovi thing, and I went and looked, but I didn't see anything recent. But see, Tim Derling likes Bon Jovi. I don't. That's different. Ernesto doesn't really pay attention to what the shows are about, you know. He just says, "Oh, he's doing Bon Jovi." All right. There also will be a new series coming up on the show. Rob the Waxed is coming on the show, and we're going to start a new series on the channel. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh, a teaser. That was a teaser.
Mm-hmm. Rob the Wax, new blood. Rob's been on the show, but we're actually going to do a series now. So good. And Angie Moon is going to come. We're doing a show on Badfinger on Saturday.
Nice.
Are you petting your cat?
I had a Frito Bandito mustache for 3 seconds.
All right, everybody, let's go. See everybody. Have a good night. Have a good Tuesday, and keep it clean. And Rap the Rascal and
all that.
Yep.
Sydney, go listen to your Digital Distortion. We'll see you on the next one.